Robbin Crosby, you said that probably you were closest to him out of any of the members?
Yeah.
And what was he like to work with?
He was just a lot of fun. That's what I remembered. And he would always, he came up with these weird things, and he would say, he'd walk in and he'd listen to Stephen warming up, for example. I remember he was standing in the hall, so Stephen couldn't see him. And he said, I'm sure glad the girls think he's sexy because he can't sing. And then he would come in and he'd listen to me, doing some of my ridiculous stuff that I would do when he'd come into work the next day. And he said, man, you've really made that very Bobadelic. That became sort of the catchphrase. He'd come in and he wouldn't like something that was going on in a particular song, and he'd say, Beau, you got to get that thing more Bobadelic. Okay, all right, I'll do that, Robbin.
Is there a point where you notice any issues with Robbin as he started to decline, or is there a point in the sequence of albums where you're like, hey, I notice a difference in Robbin?
Yes and no. I had always sort of suspected in the back of my head that Robbin had some issues, but he was very masterful at masking what was going on. He was a big guy. He was 6'5", and so even when he'd had that 10th vodka tonic too many, it didn't. He got buzzed and got drunk like everybody else, but it was the drug use that he hid very, very well. And I knew that something was wrong when I was recording somebody else at Enterprise Studios, and the front desk called me and they said, hey, Robbin Crosby came by to see you. And I said, oh, great, send him in. And he came in the control room and he pulled me over to the side and he said, hey, how much money you got on you? I said, I don't know, I got $80, $100, something like that. And he said, can I borrow it? And I said, what do you mean? He got kind of agitated, and he was just like, look, man, I just need some money. I need it right now. Because he was there with his drug dealer, and who was a guy I didn't know. So, I gave him the money, and that's when I really knew that there were some very deep problems with him.
And is this after you're working with Ratt, or still in the cycle of working with them?
No, this was I had already finished Reach for the Sky, and I was on to the next project, and and he just showed up, and there we go.
And you didn't notice anything on, say, when you're recording Reach for the Sky? You don't notice anything like a difference in the studio?
Yeah, a little bit. He was a little more absent than he normally was, and so Warren was doing. I think at that point, Robbin didn't even attempt to do any solos. So Warren did everything. I believe that's correct. So Robbin came in, played his rhythm guitar parts, and then pretty much left, and I didn't see him, much during the recording at all.
And the previous album, he was still okay?
Well, I think an argument could be made that he wasn't okay ever.
Right.
But for Dancing Undercover, he was more present. I mean, yeah, he was there, and he would run interference for me and help me out as much as he possibly could. And yeah, I don't remember. It was just on Reach for the Sky. He just wasn't around very much.